Hi and welcome back. Happy Friday. Happy member only Friday. I'm excited to do a fun project with you guys today. We're going to be talking about Infusible ink, which we don't use a lot here at Maker's Gonna Learn. And we're going to be making a license plate for the front of a vehicle, which we have also not done since I've been here. I'm sure Rachel and Tanner have done one before for you guys. So we're going to bring a little bit of a different content to you all. What I'm going to do, I'm sure you've seen the thumbnail. In case you haven't, I'm going to take Infusible ink and put it over the entire license plate. So it's going to be like a background with Infusible ink. And this mermaid Infusible ink is adorable. I'm very excited to use it. Once I put that down, then I'm going to cut out a monogram using our scalloped monogram font here from Maker's Gonna Learn and regular matte black vinyl. Then we will seal it with some outdoor Mod Podge so that it stays very nicely when the vehicle's out in the weather. So I'm very excited to do this project with you. Let's talk about the supplies that we're going to need today. For supplies, we have our license plate. Now this is a Sublimation blank license plate, and that means that it has some form of poly coating on the top that is going to soak up these awesome dyes from our Infusible ink or Sublimation if you wanted to use that. So we have this. We're going to link all of this for you all, so don't fret about that. We have Infusible ink. I am going to be using a Teflon sheet today with my Infusible ink. We do normally recommend butcher's paper. If you have your Infusible ink, it does come with 2 sheets too, so grab that. I also have this handy dandy paper trimmer that I'll be trimming the Infusible ink with, because since it's just this shape, I'm not going to put it in my Cricut and cut it by hand to save a little step. I'm also going to be using heat resistant tape just so that it doesn't move around on me when I'm heating the Infusible ink. And so I also have our Big Papa here. I like to call her Big Bertha, but that's not her name. You guys know her name probably better than I do. This is the 10 by 12 Easy Press. And then we have the large mat that we're going to be using. Again, our black matte vinyl from 143 Vinyl, our favorite. And then the outdoor Mod Podge and a paintbrush. Now, if you also want to use polyacrylic instead of the outdoor Mod Podge, you can definitely do that. In addition to that, you're just going to be needing your basic things like weeding tools, your masking paper transfer tape, tape measure, that sort of thing. But that covers supplies. Let's jump over into Design Space and we will create our monogram really quick and get this project started. Okay, over in Design Space, we are going to go ahead and grab a basic shape and we are going to size it to the size of our license plate. Our license plate is 12 inches wide by 6 inches high. So I'm just going to come up to the top where this lock button is, unlock it, and then I will put 12 inches by 6 inches. And this is just a representation, once again, of our license plate so that we can size our monogram on here beautifully and it will look amazing. Okay, so now I want to grab a text box over from the left-hand panel and I am going to type in an O. And I want to make sure that I have the correct file selected. So with Maker's Gonna Learn, and I think even with Cricut, when you're dealing with monogram fonts, there are 3 different font files for a monogram. So for instance, you can see here we're using our scalloped font. You have scallop monogram center, scallop monogram left, and scallop monogram right. So you need to select the correct one. I'm going to be selecting the center since this is my last name. If you did not know, your last name in a monogram is in the center. Then I want to grab another text box. I'm purposefully leaving that super tiny because I'm going to give you a wonderful hack that Rachel loves to share. But I'm going to type in R. So this is my first initial and I'll be using the scallop monogram left for it. So I've selected that and I'm going to move it down here. Again, you notice I'm not sizing anything. Then I'm going to grab another text box and type M for my middle initial and change that font to scalloped monogram right. Then I'll move it down here with my other ones. If I can grab it, there we go. We will scroll down And the reason that I haven't sized anything yet is if you leave them like this and then size them however big you want them, then they're all the correct size. So for instance, if I had put the O in and made it bigger and then added the R and tried to line it all up, I could probably make it look pretty good, but this is the exact size that it all should be. So all I need to do is just make it a little bit closer together or kerning, but since it is 3 separate boxes, I have to manually do that. Just like that. And then what I want to do is grab all 3 layers, come up to a line, and then I'm going to press center vertically. And it didn't move, so we had everything perfectly. Now what I can do if I want to is just group it so that it doesn't move around, and then I can size it up bigger if I want to. But let's take this up here and put it on top of our basic shape, and we can guess, or not guess, we can then look at the difference in size and make sure that we have a good size for our awesome license plate. So we'll size up here. That's looking pretty good. Now, if you're doing a design that's not centered like this or kind of smaller, you need to account for the holes where the screws are. So definitely think about that when you're sizing your project and designing your project. Okay, once I'm happy with the size, then I can just go ahead and delete this square. I don't need it anymore. And then I'm going to select all of these layers here, and I can attach at this point or weld, either one. But if I don't do that, I'm going to show you what will happen. If I click make it without attaching it, then it puts my letters all in different places, and then I'll have to manually place each one of those. I don't want to do that. So if I select them and press attach, then it acts like a paper clip, and when I press make it, all of my letters will go together perfectly on the mat and will be cut out in the exact place I want them. Now that we have that, I'm going to press continue. I will connect to my machine here, and then I'm going to select the material premium vinyl because that's what I'm using today. I'll load my mat and then put it in the machine and let it cut out. All right, we have our vinyl cut out, so I'm just going to grab my favorite little squeegee burnishing tool and go ahead and burnish this vinyl. You definitely don't want to skip this step. We have lots of friends who are new crafters, and they talk about how difficult it is to weed, and we find out very quickly that they skip this step. Don't skip this step. It makes life a whole lot easier. Now we're just going to grab our favorite weeding tool, weed off the excess vinyl here. Very quick and easy. Grab the middle of that R. And then now all we need to do is grab our paper masking transfer tape, and we will put a piece over it so that we can transfer it when we are ready onto our awesome little license plate. That's going to be so cute. So we'll just put it right on top. And then again, I'm going to take my burnishing tool, burnish again. And I can leave this on the mat if I want to, or I can go ahead and take it off. So I'm just going to flip it over, remove the mat from the vinyl, not the other way around, and then burnish from the back so that your vinyl is now adhered really well to that transfer. You can go ahead and cut off all of this extra if you want to, or leave it, whatever you prefer. But we are ready to go ahead and preheat our Easy Press and put our Infusible ink on our license plate. Okay, while our Easy Press is heating up, we are heating it up to 385 for use with our Infusible ink, but I'm gonna go ahead and cut the Infusible ink so that it is ready. If you have one of these paper trimmers and did not know that this little arm comes out, it does, and it makes life so easy to be able to cut things like this. So what I want to do is make this 6 inches. So I'm going to move this over like this, line it up on my 6-inch mark, and then I will cut. Now, a lot of people don't love to touch Infusible ink with their bare hands because of oil and moisture and all of those sorts of things. So if your hands are a little bit clammy or hold a little bit of moisture, no judgment, but maybe you want to grab some cotton gloves or something like that in order to touch everything so that you don't have to worry about that. Now that we're finished cutting this, I have just got to wait for this Easy Press to heat up, and we can apply this with some heat resistant tape and get this party started. Let's go ahead and put our infusible ink down here. Now, it's a little bit challenging just because our blank is the exact same width as the infusible ink. So make sure that you line it up perfectly. And that's another reason I'm going to be using this tape so that I can tape it down and it won't move. Also, this stuff likes to curl on me and that drives me crazy. So I'm just going to grab some of this heat resistant tape if I can find the end of it. Okay, and once you have those pieces cut, I went ahead and cut them and sort of put them on the side of my Cricut so that I could easily grab them because this stuff just wants to roll really bad. But I'll go ahead and just tape this down just like this on all four corners. And I may even add more if I need it, like around the top and the sides, but we'll see what happens there. Okay, so this is finished, and as you can see, we went ahead and taped around to the back of it so that it doesn't move on us. I feel really good about the placement. I feel really good about how secure it is. And now that my Easy Press is finished heating up, I'm going to place my Teflon sheet on top. I'm going to go ahead and put this Easy Press down. It needs to heat up for 40 seconds with minimal pressure, and then it needs a cool peel. Okay, once you have heated that, go ahead and remove your Teflon sheet or butcher's paper, whichever you're using. Keep in mind that this is metal and it is very hot. So the cool down process is going to be a little bit longer than just a shirt or something like that. So definitely let it cool. And then I'm so excited because I can already see that it looks so beautiful. I can't wait for us to peel this back and you all see it with us. Okay, I left that footage on there so that you can see how impatient that Rach and I are fanning it to cool it down. But guys, that was super hot for a long time. We are ready now to remove the adhesive, or the tape rather, and see how gorgeous this is. I'm so excited. Oh my goodness, how amazing is this? I love how vibrant the colors are. It did so well. And you can see it's sort of ombre. It gets lighter at the bottom, but that's how it's supposed to be. You can look at the transfer sheet and see that it transferred how it was supposed to. But so beautiful. And now we are ready to add the monogram. So we'll just remove the backing just like this, and we can place it. We'll get it nice and centered and put it down. So once you have it centered, go ahead and smooth it out, rub it with your burnishing tool or your squeegee, whatever you want to call it. Make sure it is down really nicely, and then you're going to remove that backing. And now we are ready to go ahead and grab our Mod Podge and our paintbrush, and we are going to seal this adorable license plate. So what you want to do is get a good amount on your paintbrush and just go for it. You definitely want it to be smooth. And oh, I didn't even mention, you definitely want to protect your workspace that you're going to be working with. You don't want the Mod Podge everywhere, but you want a smooth application of this Mod Podge, and you might notice that it is white and it dries clear. So don't worry about that. It will look amazing, but just make nice, solid, fluid motions with your paintbrush. It can be left or right or up to down. It doesn't matter either way you want. You just want it to look not streaky. You don't want to see brush strokes in 1,000 different areas. So make it look really good. And then you do need to let this cure for 28 days before you put it outside. So if you are selling these to customers, or you're giving them to friends, or you're just using them for personal use, keep that in mind when you go to use them. It needs 28 days before it is considered safe from the outdoor elements. I hope you guys had so much fun with this. I enjoyed it because I got to use a couple of materials that we don't normally use a lot here at Maker's Gonna Learn, so that was fun. I hope you guys are inspired to do some fun projects. I've said fun a whole lot because this was such a fun project. But anyway, I hope that you're inspired to do projects with Infusible ink. Let me know if you have any questions about it. Of course, I'm not picking this up because it's still drying, but you guys will see the finished project photo in the thumbnail. And of course, I always share it in the group. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you need links to any of the supplies, definitely check that out. We have all of the affiliate links listed for you. And again, leave any questions or comments that you might have. See you guys here next week for another member only video.